Only, how would I get a haircut? There's no hair there.
Well, I thought you might have got one or two of them cut off.
They're all cut all the time.
I thought you might have did a little shave job because it looks a little cleaner than normal. You and Steve must go to the same barber. Marty and I don't worry about it. We just wear a hat.
I was doing it for many, many years, many years. About a decade at least.
And how's the Pouncing Tigers in New York doing, Mr. Gibson?
Cold, coming along here.
Y'all got some cold up there? We've been a little cold down here.
I've got a little tent up and I just got a new heater.
Okay. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. You're outside.
It's nice. I like being outside, even though it's cold.
Wow. That's pretty good. I like the tent with the heater thing.
It's yeah, I just unboxed it. It's amazing.
Cool. Cool.
That's cool.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting, anybody have anything they need to get a clarification on or a question?
Yeah, what questions do we have, guys?
We'll give everybody a chance to get on while you're getting your questions ready.
Yeah, how's the blitz going? I mean, we can talk about that. What kind of things do we need to cover with all the business you guys are doing this month? It should be a big month.
This is not, this is just a comment on a parent, something that I saw on the Facebook page about,
Turn your volume down just a tad, Marty. It's distorting.
okay. I forget what I saw on the group Facebook page, but it was something. Oh, Jonathan Haidt, the yeah. So I watched that video. Very good. But one of the things that he was talking about is gender identity and inclusiveness. So we had a parent in the school who. So sometimes during the classes, I will subdivide. I will put the boys together and I will put the girls together. We usually don't do this for the whole class, but we might do it for a period of time, 15, 20 minutes in the class. And this mom was worried that we were not having an inclusive environment because we were subdividing them. I talked to her, I told her, it's not the whole time, boys need this, girls need this, they need to be separated. Historically, boys and girls used to be in separate schools. Don't worry about it. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that came up in the school. Anyway, if you guys want to comment on it.
You went into, so you separated the boys and the girls. She was upset because that might not be inclusive for somebody who was a fluid gender identity person.
Correct.
And you went ahead and gave a discussion about the fact that it was okay to separate boys and girls for historical reasons.
Well, I didn't say it was okay for historical reasons. What I said was that historically boys and girls have been separated, and we're not doing it for the whole class. Only doing it for a portion of the class.
But so here's what I would say. Let me make a comment. Maybe Master Smith has a different comment. My comment, if it's something like this, I don't separate boys and girls generally for anything, but here's my comment. You could do all kinds of things that somebody might be pissed off about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, you could do something somebody can be mad about. It's real easy to have a gut reaction of explaining it like you did. I don't judge you for explaining it like you did. Looking back on it in hindsight, I think the explanations for things like this that we screw up, and I don't know if it's really screwed up, but I mean, it was like, I don't know that it wouldn't, I don't think the explanation was necessary. I guess that's the thing that I would tell everybody with things like this. The question to ask ourselves in these kind of scenarios is, are explanations necessary? You separated the boys and girls. She says she didn't think that was an inclusive environment. Okay. I really do appreciate your input. And then you're done. I mean, a lot of times we end up getting into more trouble trying to explain ourselves or explain things or have discussions about stuff when either we're not experts at some of those things, or frankly, I have a counseling degree and I can't keep track of the, all the different scenarios in the community with gender identity and all the different things. And I'm not disparaging any of that. I'm just saying sometimes it's hard to keep track of how to deal with all the different issues that might come up in those areas. I think I try not to worry about my own lack of understanding maybe in some scenarios, and just not try to explain myself in different ways. So, you just say, I appreciate your input and all that. And then you can decide if you want to separate girls and boys. If it's really super important to you, then I guess you're going to have to deal with that issue. But I guess my only comment for everybody is you might make some mistakes and ask the question whether it's important to explain yourself or not. It may not be important to explain yourself.
Yeah, I tell you,
Get you in
whenever
trouble.
whenever you divide the classes up, that is not the norm. You're going to have people that are going to question it, and you're better off just saying I just did it today. It's not something we do all the time, but take that input that you're getting. If only one person says anything about it, it's not a big deal. If you get several people, and this is referring to, I used to get it whenever I would separate the different ages. Sometimes I'd put the 6 with the 3 and the 5, and parents would get upset that their 6-year-old had to be with the 3 and the 5-year-olds or things like that. But, I just justified it by saying, I wanted him to be the leader in there. When he's in the other class, he's the youngest, so I want him to be the oldest and set the example good for the others. So if you've got a good explanation, use it. Otherwise, don't even address it. Just say, okay, well, thank you for your concern. And then just go on about your business.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for your input. And less is more usually when you're dealing with stuff. And if it becomes a bigger concern, you can always have longer conversations, but try not to come up with.
It doesn't happen enough to even stress over it.
Yeah.
You got bigger fish to fry.
And if you
Like-
do, if you do
Right
want,
now
Go
with the
go ahead, Marty.
blitz.
That's all, I don't think much of it. It was just apparent. And given that I'd seen the stuff on the Facebook page, I just thought I'd mention it.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
They're probably on the
less
call.
of that we discuss about, probably the better, because every time we discuss it, it tends to open a can of worms, and every time you try to get into it with the students, it'll open a can of worms. So let's talk about the renewal blitz. I'd like to hear what's going on, who's got something going, who's having success with the blitz, who's got their decorations up, who is not sure what to do. How about some feedback there, Master Del Castello?
Sir, decorations, good. Vision boards are up and all kinds of stuff up like that is going good. We did the board breaking thing last week where they're decorating those too and bringing them back and putting them up. We were a little slow to start, honestly, on getting to the part of actually having conferences and stuff, but that's beginning to move now. Master Moody actually gave me some good advice on that letter that I got out. I did get out a couple days ago on, and actually just yesterday, just got out yesterday, but I got out the direct mail letter I got some of those urgent overnight fake envelopes. That was cool. Found those and sent those. So that's good. And we have started setting progress checks with everyone. Master Moody's advice about making sure that we just tell them what we want them to do instead of, I have a tendency to speak like an author sometimes. And so he was like, just tell them what you want them to do. And so I put those bullets in there. I think that was really good. And we've, they don't even have the letter yet. but we've been-
You're talking about that letter that you had that was for part of the Blitz process.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And everybody ought to copy. Yeah, after those comments, everybody ought to copy that and get some direct mail out, by the way. So that's really good. And thanks for mentioning that, but everybody should be copying that and if you're not getting some direct mail out in the Blitz process, please do.
You let her know before you leave.
And
Yeah,
guys,
I'll stay with her till 3.
Okay.
Do you want to take her?
Yeah, mute out, guys, if you're not
Yeah,
talking. At this point in time, with December, knocking on the door tomorrow, December has to be the time that you're harvesting now. The crop should be grown. You should have already done your planning, and you've watered the crops and you've got them ready to go. And now you've got to start asking these people and start doing your conferences, because you're going to run out of time. Remember, December's a short month. There's a lot of holidays in there. People disappear, a lot of times that second half of the month. So you really, really got to follow up on it. If you were late starting on it and you have to carry it over into January and doing the people that you don't finish up with in December, there's nothing wrong with carrying it to January, but if you've done it right, you should be able to, get most of them done in December, and just a few carryovers that disappeared during the holidays that you didn't get to do a set down with. But remember, the key was getting those visualization sheets out, getting them to do their vision boards, getting them to do their goal setting sheets, all those kind of things. And then you look at those, and then it gives you a little more background, a little more insight into where their head is and how hard they're going to be, whether they're going to be, they're already ready to go, or does it sound like they're a little apprehensive, or they haven't set their goals? We've always found in the past that the ones that do those vision boards and do those vision sheets and do the goal setting sheets, those are the ones that are primed and ready to go. So make sure that you give them that invitation formally in front of the class, and then schedule them for a class, and then do it just like an intro. You're going to teach them a couple classes, and then you're going to close them. And if you've taught them a couple classes and you don't have the right buying signals, see if you can overcome what their objections are. But remember, we're not trying to renew everybody. We always said 75 or 80% is as much as you need. That last 20% or 25% is probably more trouble than they're worth. They're going to be the ones that'll be dropping out or complaining or having problems. So we want to try to scrape the top layer off there and get the ones that are ready and primed, that you've already pre-framed. Paul Pendergrass, how is your blitz coming?
It's going pretty good, sir. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
We started at the end. We started hitting the ground running at the end of October.
Perfect.
So we started getting our visualization sheets out and the goal setting sheets out. So we started dripping it into people's hands, creating a list. So the boys told me this November is going to be better than last month. Last month, October, we had 127,000. So the guys are telling me with the renewals and what they're done there, we're going to do more than that. So I'm excited to see at the end of the week here. But we're doing our progress checks. We got vision boards up throughout the school. We're just working the steps, working the process.
Sometimes, Paul, the visualization for our members, just like a vision board or a vision sheet, that vision part of it, if you and some of the other guys, like Steve Del Castello and some of the other guys who have their school decorated with the banners and vision boards and decorations up and all that kind of stuff, take some pictures of that.
Okay.
Take a little video and post it on our member site for everybody to see, because I'm going to tell you, when you get into that mode, and I know when I was at Steve and Del Castello's, he was awarding, he was giving quite a few of the leadership uniforms out then in front of the class, and making a big deal about it, and then taking the picture with the family, and then getting their picture up on the board with the future black belt leaders and what their goal, the class of 24, the class of 25, or those kind of things. So those are all the things that we're talking about that the more of those you do, the easier it gets to be.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot easier. But we're following the steps, and I think one school has 7 renewals for the month right now. The other one has 10.
Good.
So they're all they're dripping in, and they're setting themselves up because we have pre-test this week. Testing is next week, so there's going to be more conversations, progress checks after testing, and then invitations. But we're finding out the more we make the lists that you talk about,
Yeah.
these guys are working more methodically. This is the paid in full list. These are the people that they make a list. Anybody who brings in a vision board, they cross check it. Okay, vision board, not on leadership, conversation, boom, boom,
Yeah. That's
yeah, so they're working smarter. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. They're working a lot smarter now, and it's starting to pay off.
starting to use the systems, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
was just at Lynn Broussard's a week or so ago, and the thing that I was impressed, you know, he has his new location, and I guess it's been there a year or so. But the thing that impressed me the most about his school, I was teaching a basic class, and I guess there was about 42 in the basic class. And out of those 42 in the basic class, there was only 6 people that had a white uniform. Everybody else was in leadership uniforms.
Oh, wow.
And
Nice.
there was probably a dozen white belts with the leadership uniform, another dozen yellow belts. And, you know, he's getting them early on. He said, you know, in that first month to 2 months, you know, he wants to have them in that leadership uniform while they're a white belt. And that's even those 6 that weren't in the group yet. He was, when I was there, was giving 3 of them their uniform that day, that they had just done it because they were in the renewal blitz mode and had the vision boards.
Nice.
So, and I don't know if Lynn's on right now, if he
I am. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
there he is. Okay, maybe fill everybody in, because it's so impressive how, you know, how he has it. And I'm going to tell you, you guys that are complaining that you don't have instructors, his instructors, most of them are brown belts. They aren't even black belts yet. There was a mom and her daughter that was teaching this basic class that did such a phenomenal job, and was just had such rapport with them. I could see, you know, I was telling him, I said, you know, I see why you're getting so many renewals now, because your instructor staff, even though they're young, and I don't necessarily mean age-wise, but young as in not even black belt experienced instructors, they've been in his instructor training program that came up through the system. Tell us a little bit about that too, Lynn, if you could.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, everyone's belt orders are different. We have white, then yellow, then orange. White and yellow is the beginner class, and the basic class. Orange is intermediate and advanced. So as soon as they hit orange belt, the ones that show promise, we have them immediately start helping out in the white belt, yellow belt class. So those 2, the mom and daughter, had been helping since they were orange belts about 2.5 years ago. So while they don't have their black belt yet, yeah, they have 2 years of experience working with the kids and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, we make a big deal out of that right from the beginning. When they first enroll, we talk about how it's a leadership training program, and that as soon as they make the decision to get their black belt, they can start to work on leadership skills and then get hands-on practice. You know, because like a 7 or 8-year-old doesn't have many opportunities in life to like practice leadership skills and train leadership skills, like hands-on with other people. And so it's a huge draw. And then, you know, I mean, you saw yourself, you know, the percentages that we had. Most people just want to get into that program. So it's pretty easy. You just got to ask them.
It was so impressive. As a matter of fact, when the class was going on, I was helping in the class a little bit, but also talking with some of the parents. And one of the boys there that was didn't even have his white belt yet. This was his first regular class. You know, this was his second intro class, and he was asking about, you know, doing the vision board. Can he do a vision board? In the next class he came in, that class that I was there Friday night, he came back the next day and he had done his vision board about his goal for his black belt and what he was going to be like. And the mother was just so impressed with, his reaction and his involvement and engagement. And that's really what makes the renewal so easy, is when you get them where they're so engaged, whether they're doing the things that you're asking them to do with the vision boards or whether they're doing the stripes. And I tell you, at Len's school, the stripe system he has is one of the best I've seen. I mean, the way he gives them out, makes a big deal about it. And everybody has so many stripes. There's nobody, I go to some schools and there's people that don't have many stripes. And then there's a few that have a lot of stripes. And then you got some that are like in the middle. Well, his are like, every one of them is a superstar. Every one of them has a ton of stripes. And that just tells me that they're engaged more. And that's going to prove your system, to the parents quicker. Because if the kids are doing all this stuff at home already, after just being there for a month or two, then the parents are more, they're going to be more, decisive on saying that, wow, what an impact this is making on my son's life. I want him to continue doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, big congratulations for that too, Mr. Lynn.
Thank you, sir.
So Jan, how's your Blitzy coming?
Good. We're doing pretty well. I think we've got 15, I think, that we've already renewed. So that's good. We're having a good month. I think we're at 133. Who knows what's going to come in today, but hopefully a little more. So we're doing well.
Is that 133 at the just Middleburg?
Middleburg. Rachel, I think, hit 30. I think she's $300 short of 30,000 for her new school. So we're splitting them up now. Yeah, we're splitting up.
She hasn't even been open 2 months yet, has she?
We actually just opened last week.
No way.
We don't have, I mean, they wanted to take class in there, so the building's not done. There's still boxes and no baseboards, but yeah.
And you got 30,000 already?
Yes, sir.
Tell us, was this on pre-sales and online classes or going to the other school? How did you coordinate that?
I mean, we're doing the same things that we have going on at Middleburg. We didn't do a ton extra. We did advertise a grand opening special, but we were just running classes out of a little event center around the corner we've been there for a while now. So
that little health club, was it a health club?
It started in a gym and then the gym shut down and then we were somewhere else for a little while. I don't even remember where else. And then we moved to that. It was a town hall and event center. So it was like a wedding hall kind of thing.
Wow. So just 1 week in the new location and you're already up to 30,000, pretty much your first month then, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, like I said, we've had classes for a while, but.
Yeah, and that's a lesson for everybody. I know we talked about that
Recording in progress.
where we wanted to make sure that you got that built up. We got a little interference there going. Want to make sure that school was built up enough so when you opened the commercial school, you already had enough to cover all your expenses and advertising, so that way you kind of hit the ground running. And that formula looks like it worked out really well for you, being at 30,000 from the first month of the commercial actually school. And you said the first week, isn't that it's only been open actually where you can do classes in the commercial space for a week?
Yeah, well, we've been in there 4 days because of the holiday, so we were closed on Thanksgiving and everything. But
okay, well, Jan, you better watch out. Rachel's coming for you. That's great. Good news. Congratulations, Rachel.
Thank you.
And Jan, we don't want to play down that 133. That's a nice November. And I would venture to say that then quite a bit better than your last November, even though last November was good. I don't think it was even in the 120s, was it?
Rachel, what was it? Do you have it in front of you?
We did 102 last November.
Yeah, I thought you were just breaking over the one for that one. I know December came back and you were like 126 or something in December.
152, right? Last,
157 last December. So we have our goals pretty high for this December. We have a big
That's
shooting
that's
belt.
right, because I did that paid in full contest, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
you guys won the, if I remember, you won the paid in full contest for
Are
every.
you guys consistently doing, or paid in fulls during the year now? Or are you just doing them during the blitz? Are you guys kind of ramping up so you're going to consistently do them on a regular basis like we talked about?
Yes, sir. We are going to. We have not been,
So,
but we
so
will.
this is kind of your jumping off point for making this a consistent thing. And I would say that for everybody. That's not just for the blitz. That's something you should be doing on a regular basis as your normal process during the year.
It should be one of your, we talk about, I talk about the funnels that are coming in, like your enrollments, your renewals, any special event stuff that you're doing, any equipment sales or any of that kind of stuff, but where all the funds are coming from, your billing, your down payments, and the paid in full has to be one of those buckets that you're trying to fill. And the way that you have a record month is to make sure that all your buckets, are getting filled, that you're not leaving your enrollments out, you're not leaving your renewals out, or down payments and first month's tuition. And I mean, to get those bigger numbers, you have to hit on all those cylinders.
I got a quick question for Rachel and Master Lappin. Are you guys just basing 20% the whole 4, 5, 6 years, or are you saying like 20%? Yes.
You broke up on that, Sal, but I think you were asking what percentage discount were you giving them in the paid in full?
Doing the whole program, like whether it's 4, 5, 6 years or just 1 year.
I think I get what you're asking. So if we actually have a couple different tiers, so we do, if they're in a basic 1-year program, normally they save 15%. If they do at least, like if they have about 3 years left of their program, it's 20%. And if they do a full 6-year program, then it's a 30% discount. I mean, it's a 25% discount, but for all 3 of those during the month of December only, we do an additional 5%. So we our plan is to do more paid in fulls throughout the year, like both of you are saying, but kind of do a blitz every April and every December, just in case we missed anybody. And we do that extra discount then.
For 1 year, you're giving 15%. For people that are doing the remaining program, whether it's 2 to 3 years, you're giving a 20%. And then you're giving a 25% discount for people that are 4 years and greater. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's what we normally give. This month, all 3 of those are 5% higher. From December 1st to December 31st, it's 5% higher. So,
Yeah, so that's what you do during the blitz, and then it'd be a little bit less during the rest of the year.
So you're adding an extra 5% on top of what I just.
yes, sir. Yeah, Sal, I can send you the little sheet that has we actually just got off of a staff training with a couple of our employees, showing them how to do those conferences.
Are you actually going and talking to the basics though?
No.
Because the basics, the 1-year ones, the basics, the target for those would be to renew them.
Yes, sir.
yeah, we don't push the basics at all. I usually forget to even ask. And actually this month, we did a really bad job on paid in fulls at my school. Were any of those paid in fulls? do we get any paid in fulls out of the 133? I don't think we did. So I'm thinking next month, hopefully will be a good month. We just didn't concentrate much on it.
We don't push any of the basics. We don't set up meetings with any of the basics or try to sit down with them, but we do send out a couple emails throughout the month. And that's really it. And we get a few usually with that email, but that's it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but when you were saying the 1 year and that, those are when you're trying to get the paid in full on the full thing and they can't handle that. And then we have the fallback where they can do 1 year and get a little extra discount if they do that prepaid.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we do that same discount if they are in the basic program and they approach us about doing a paid in full. We do offer the paid in full after they've enrolled. Like right then we say there is an option to do this. And so we get that 10% of the time, maybe. It's the same discount either way. If they're in the basic 1 year and they do it, that's the discount. Or a lot of our students who are in leadership, like you said, they can't do the full. So we do give them the option to do a year.
Have you guys ever thought of?
This is why, yeah, we got bad audio from you, Sal.
Your connection, I don't know if you have good internet connection or not, but we're getting about every other word.
It's better.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So rather than giving like a 20 or 15 or 20, 25% discount, how about giving them like a 3, 4, 5, 6 months free and they just pay on top of, they just pay the normal tuition. Let's say it's $500 a month. Pay that all in full. Is that?
I've never found that actually helps that much. Because, you get this many months free. I've never found that helps too much. I mean, maybe somebody else has a different experience with that, but it's just not as sexy as saving $3,000.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so who else is got their renewal blitz going? Willie, how's your y'all got your blitz going, or have y'all engaged in that yet?
No, we have not. That's something that I'm looking at. Sounds like I'm a little late on it. So
Yeah, you are late. Let's get started.
See, you can still do it as a December, January thing and start doing everything that everybody else did in October, November. Do that in December and then start closing them up this month and next month.
Yeah, you bet.
But you got to get those vision sheets and vision boards going. That's kind of the start of it. And then the invitations and the goal setting sheets and those steps. I mean, you just got to start somewhere. And a lot of people, they hesitate because they don't know where to start. And that's why I tell everybody the best way to start is just start putting the vision. Everybody gets a vision sheet. How many want to be a black belt? They raise their hand and now they do the vision. And then you talk about this is goal setting. This is black belt goal setting season. Everybody in the school, whether you're in the black belt leadership or not, you have to recommit to your goals every year if you want to obtain those goals. It takes dedication, it takes perseverance, and every year you've got a different vision of where you're going to go to and what you're going to be like. So we want to see what that vision is. We want you to visualize it on a poster so we can put it up, and then we'll display it and then give it back to you after in January. That's usually when we give them back, but that you can put in your room where you're going to see that on a regular basis to help remind you of what those goals are. See, don't underestimate the power of those vision sheets and boards. That's the nucleus for the whole thing. And all of that comes with, if you've been doing the black belt verbiage in the classes, are you planting those seeds? Are you talking about it on a regular basis? Do you have the signage up in your school that says you are a black belt school? Would you be, if we told everybody we wanted you to take pictures of your school, of all the signage that's up on the inside of the school, would that signage display that you are a black belt school? And if it doesn't, then you're missing the boat, because all of that signage has such an impact on people when they're coming in. It also reminds our instructors to repeat those words that are on the wall and constantly utilize that black belt verbiage in all the classes. Delfino, how is your blitz coming along? I know you've been doing really good with the renewal of the enrollments. How is the renewal process coming?
It's going a little bit better. We have 12 renewals for this month so far.
Okay, that's good.
And hopefully we'll get about 15, 16 this coming December. So it's coming along. I'm holding the conferences for the people that are in basic, their second or third conference, depending. So that's helped out. We've had a lot of people that weren't enrolled in our leadership, that when I've met with them again, they're the ones asking a lot of questions about the program. And when I've met with them, they've enrolled. So that's helped out quite a bit, just like Master Moody suggested to meet with them during the Blitz. And that's going real well.
Yeah, and that's really important. Hopefully everybody heard that. Don't prejudge people just because you met with them before, and you might have met with them 3 times before, but now's the time with all the stuff happening and changing the mindset, because you got decorations up, because you're doing things, and because you're talking about it a little different, and they're doing the vision boards and all that stuff. It shifts their mindset, and now it's a new time for them to listen. So really good job.
And just for our newer members, that, you know, the newer ones in our mastery group here who might be a little confused on saying, you know, like, well, you know, how do I do the renewal or the renewal blitz? You know, it's not a one-shot deal. Was Gustavo on, Matt? Is Gustavo on? I thought he was on. Did he get bumped off? Because I wanted him to hear this.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me try giving him a ring.
We got to get him on here. He's one of the ones that needs this, because see what happens, guys, with the renewals. A lot of people think that they can just do a blitz at the end of the year and get a bunch of renewals. Well, none of that works if you haven't been doing all of the other groundwork for it. And the groundwork on it is what's important, you know, like from the intro, you know, that telling them you're a black belt school, from having the uniforms a different color, by having the class structured differently for the leadership, having the signage up, using the black belt verbiage in the class. See, all of that goes into it. Having those character stripes and giving those awards at the graduation. How important was that? What kind of impact did that make on your school, Paul, when you started doing that at the graduation and giving all those awards?
Oh my God.
What kind of impact did that have?
Oh, it was amazing. The parents just thought they just thought they're in the right place. It just validated to them that, oh my God, you're going above and beyond what anybody else does. They don't do this at my gymnastics school. They don't do this at my dance school. So when you do those things at graduations, it just helps your cause. It makes the renewal so much easier, because it's just, you'll find out people will go to you asking you, how do I get in?
And Gustavo, you missed that first part. And we talked about how this whole intro, from day one, you're planting the seed for that renewal. You know, it's no different. It's not like the farmer goes out and says, I'm gonna harvest all those crops. Well, if he didn't plant the seeds, if he didn't prepare the soil, if he didn't water and fertilize and spray for bugs and take care of them until they were grown, and then you go out and harvest them. So when we say a renewal is not an easy thing, it's something that is it's a whole level of things that you have to do that lead up to that renewal. Because what happens and what makes the renewal easy, just like Paul was saying, is that when your students engage in the stripes, because at the graduation, you're rewarding them with medals or trophies for doing it, you make a big deal out of it. Their parents are making a big deal out of it because they're filling all that stuff up. All of those steps are important to make this renewal happen. See, the renewal is just a accumulation of all the work you've been doing. So that's why it's an easy process if you've been doing everything correctly. But if you're not using black belt verbiage in the class, if you don't have signs up in your school, if you don't have a different color uniform top to differentiate these people, if you're not constantly in the class asking how many have set their goal for black belt and beyond, and a black belt is a white belt who never quits, and all that constant stuff is what makes that renewal easier and easier. You know, when I was at Lynn's school, one of the things that makes it so easy at his school is that they now see everybody is in the leadership. So now they're expecting that they want to be in there too, because everybody's like the Pied Piper. It's that initial wave that you got to get going. It's like a snowball. You throw the snowball down and it starts building. It takes a while, but once it gets big, it picks up that momentum and it just makes it that much easier.
I'm wondering if we have anybody that has specific places with that they're stuck in the blitz, because I think people had some launching issues, and I think they asked Bob about stuff, Master Smith. So yeah, Adam, any places that you guys are stuck that we can answer some specific questions?
I just wanted to say, like last week and a week before that, I sent up 8 people $1,000 down to leadership. But my big thing, my decorations are crazy. I got more foot up today. There's not a ceiling tile. It's not got something decorated on there. But I just wanted to say is don't overthink it. The people I thought they would be hesitant, they're the ones signed up that day. The ones that go home and think about it are the ones that were, I thought were A+. They signed up over the weekend. On Monday, yesterday, signed up yesterday, but they didn't go and think about it. But I'm saying don't overthink it. But the decorations I got, all pictures of it, it's crazy. People keep going, wow. It must be probably, I don't know, hundreds of stuff I got on the ceiling.
Yeah, post some pictures. Yeah.
Guys,
what other questions?
School. And Master Oliver used to say at the schools, he said, when it looks like there's no room for anything else, then double it. Just make it where it's obnoxious.
Yeah, it's gaudy. I believe that you were obnoxious, Adam.
Thank you. It sounds like my family. My question is, my banquet, my Christmas party, should I do it in dojo party or should I have it at a banquet hall? Because banquet halls want $30 to $55 per person. But with COVID, I'm wondering if a large group have it in a hall would be better spaced out, or just have it at the dojo, save money.
I always like to have it at the school because I want them to invite friends. And if we had to stretch out the length of the party and have it where you could drop by and, we're doing an open house Christmas party and it goes from 12 till 6 and, drop by and we're going to have refreshments and games. And then it becomes, I think, a lot more personalized and you get the people in the school. And I think it just, it has, for me, a completely different feel than when we're in a gym or a hall somewhere or a big ballroom or something. It just doesn't have the same feel for me. I could hear from Master Moody, you might put your 2 cents in there too.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with Master Smith, and that can be part of your blitz. That they need to. We want to get them in the leadership program before the extravaganza you're having for your party or your event. We do an actual workout. We kind of finish it up with a seminar they do with me, but that's a little unusual situation because I only teach at the school 4 times a year. So that's one of the big workouts they do with me. And then they get, we don't try to make it like some sort of banquet or anything like special with food, because they've already got so many food things they're doing already. We do a big workout with me because we're martial arts, so we do a workout, and then we give them some pizza and stuff afterwards. But then they do anybody that's had me out and done a big seminar, we do some and that's kind of a day that they can we wrap up the rest of the sales and the renewals and the things that we're going to do in the school, and it's all congruent with having a celebration kind of thing at the end of the year. So kind of get out of the idea of it's got to be a, you know, like some sort of banquet or awards deal or thing like that. And they can bring friends to that too, because it's a workout, and we do really, really well if they bring friends, because it's such a big event and a fun workout, because I'm teaching something fun that everybody can do.
Gustavo, where are you getting stuck?
I gotta be honest. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah. You can hear me, yes?
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I can't get through the videos. You know, I have been trying for months to get through them. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do them, and I can't get through them. I've done the Estes Park. I've got the verbiage up. We're doing it in the class. And where I'm getting stuck is, you know, I'm not even sure. I know I'm supposed to be doing them 4 to 6 months out. We're not. I know my school in Long Island lost like 15 people last month, and I didn't get any renewals this month. You know, because I'm doing it the way I know how.
How many did you ask?
Whatchamacallit, we had 7 people.
How many renewal? You had 7 renewal conferences?
Yeah. I'm not talking to anyone that's a basic person. I'm talking about people that are expiring right now.
Okay, so that's just extensions really of their current membership.
Right.
Those are the hardest to renew, Gustavo. The ones that are expiring. You already let them rot on the vine.
So
yeah, I know that, because I usually do Half Moon. I usually talk to them at least, you know, halfway through the program and whatever. But I've been trying to get this where you know, I'm not trying to be a black belt at it. I'm just trying to be a baby orange belt at it, and I'm fumbling a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got 2 things that are going on though, 2 questions. One is how to get the overall renewal process going, right? That's
right.
One thing. And the second thing might be is how to get the blitz going separately. Are you asking about the blitz as well, or just the renewal process?
I'm at this point just being able to do a renewal correctly.
Okay.
You know,
the blitz can actually help you with getting that established, and it might be a separate meeting that you want to do with, you know, Master Smith or me or one of the guys to just kind of get the whole step-by-step process going. But the blitz is kind of a good time to get the renewal process going, because whatever state your school is currently, you know, with people in program 1, 2, 3, 4, the blitz is a good time to get a move to the next program. 1, 2, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, so it's a time to go through the whole list of everybody. And this is what everybody should be doing. Even if you've renewed a bunch of people, the next month should be, they can all, you know, the ones that renewed can pay in full, or they can move to another program. If they only move to Black Belt Club, they can move to leadership, you know, just because they moved to Black Belt Club this month, maybe they can move to leadership the next month. So, you know, whatever state they moved into, think about just moving them to the next box. And that could be a really good way for you to get your renewal process established. I don't know if we need more detail specifically for you, Gustavo, which is fine if you need that. But for everybody, that's in William, you got that too. You want to get the blitz established. It's a good time to make sure your renewal process is set up right. And then, just like we said for Jan, for paid in fulls, that's part of the process that isn't done on a normal basis. The blitz is a good time to make sure that gets done. You have some success with it. And then after the blitz goes away, just keep on doing it on a regular basis.
And I'll tell you, 90% of the time, the schools that aren't doing well on renewals are the ones that aren't using the black belt verbiage in the class. They're the ones that are not engaging with the stripes. They're not the ones that have the school decorated with black belt signage. They're the ones that aren't doing vision sheets and vision boards. So you've got to get all of that going. And that becomes part of the whole process. You know, it's not just talking to them and signing them up for a black belt. The idea is that everything that goes on the class is that you are a black belt school. And if you are a black belt school, then you've got to make sure every class is being taught where we're talking to the students about black belt goal setting. And I'll tell you, record your staff. You know, sometimes I've heard them say, yeah, we're using black belt verbiage. And then I look, they'll send me a recording of the class and they mentioned it like 2 or 3 times the whole class. When the schools that have seen me do it, when I'm in a class for 45 minutes or an hour, I might have mentioned it 30 times. It has to be an ongoing thing about goal setting, and that's what martial arts is about, is teaching these kids how to set goals to use in other phases of their life.
Yeah, but I mean, Gustavo, does that help a little bit? But I think we may need to just kind of step back from it and go, what do we need to do next? What are the people that you have in your school? And again, for everybody during the Blitz, you've got these groups of people in your school. Where do they need to move next? And then we talk to all of them and then move them to the next stage. That's what the Blitz kind of is. It's just in the big guise of all the decorations and all the other stuff, and that makes them all excited about moving. You know, in a bigger sense of what we're talking about, the Blitz isn't any different than what you normally do. You enroll somebody, you make sure they're really conditioned and educated on what the next step is, which is leadership. And then you talk to them at a certain point when they're ready about leadership, and then you enroll them in leadership. And at some point later, you put them in your instructor program. That's the normal process.
Is there anybody else out there that has been where Gustavo is, where they were kind of stumped and didn't know what to do with the renewal and how to engage it?
But Gustavo, does that help, or do we want to kind of take that offline at some point and kind of walk through that?
Whatchamacallit, you know, the only thing of everything that we've mentioned right now, the only thing I don't have is the vision sheets and vision board. I'm not really even clear on what that is.
Well, we posted, look up vision sheets on the Facebook group, but we've got a lot of those posted. I think Tim Harrison posted some great ones, really good ones, and also a description of how to do the vision board. Those are really good on the Facebook group. Those are all excellent. So that's the same thing, the vision sheets, the vision board.
Actually, on the vision sheets, sir. So Master Oliver, at our last meeting, he was talking about how to have modules where we're doing the renewal process in each module, right, over and over again. So what week do you do the vision sheets for everybody? What I'm working on right now is I've hired a artist to help me create different vision sheets. So it's the same idea, same concept. But the point is, if we get somebody that started in January and February and they didn't renew, now in March and April, I'm going to give them another vision sheet, same idea, but it's a different picture. So one person is a flying psychic with no head, so they've got to draw their head on it, black belt visualization sheet, right? And the next module, it's them breaking a board, but there's no head, and they have to do the same thing. They have to draw it. So it's still interesting for them. It's still exciting, but it's the same concept, but it's slightly different for them. So I'm working on that right now.
Yeah, but that might be that's really cool, but that might be a little much for what Gustavo's at right now. I think you just need to do the ones that we've got up there. That would be fine.
So I'm supposed to be renewing them from white belt, if I'm understanding everything correctly.
Yes.
Okay, I'm definitely not doing that. Yeah.
But again, that might be something we need to walk through and kind of help you get the rest of the process.
Well, I'd like to get in on that walkthrough with Gustavo. I think that would be great for me as I'm putting this together. A walkthrough would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would help.
Okay.
Anybody else that is stuck on renewals and can't get their renewals going?
Yeah, this is more of a renewal issue than a blitz issue then.
Yeah, it's a renewal issue.
Yeah.
I kind of sort of do, sir. I talk to a lot of people and students. You know, we try to do what you guys are saying. Oftentimes, I feel like the responses that I'm getting is they can't quite afford the tuition payment. And I know Grandmaster Smith, you kind of gave me a little bit of the price difference, and so I think that's the next best thing for me. But you know, a lot of the people that I've talked to have not upgraded, simply not because they don't like the classes. They think it's awesome. It's just they think it's a little too much. So any suggestion on that? And I haven't tried. I've tried a little bit of the lower pricing that you suggested to me, and so I've done that with one or two people so far.
Well, it's not the lower pricing, it's the tier work, you know, of having a basic program and then a little bit higher for your black belt and then a little bit higher for your leadership. So that way, the difference between a basic program and a black belt program, if they cannot afford the leadership, is still within their price range. Now, I will say your basic program is higher than most schools. So
yeah, 325.
Yeah, so you know, when you bump it to you know, 497, and I think you were charging 5 something on your
yeah, 550, and you know, basically 450. That's the new price.
You know, that's
Was it 550 and 450 from 3?
Yeah, so the leadership, the ultra, the best is 550, and then the other one would be $100 less at 450.
And your basic is how much?
325.
Yeah, see, that's not hardly any jump, and that's a little bit odd pricing because it's like, you know, 100. You said 550, so it's 125 more for leadership and 75 more. It's kind of a strange bump in the middle. Usually you'd want like the Black Belt Club to be like split dab in the middle, and it's kind of a little offset to the side of the middle.
Yeah, we could switch that.
But usually just because it makes a little more logical sense. But yeah, and so for William, for Gustavo, same thing. You first of all, you got to set your programs up so you have the 3 programs, and then set your pricing up. Your price jump from basic to leadership is not very much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small percentage. It's only bumping up a third, not even double. So if you're selling, doesn't matter what you're selling, you know, object, you know, program 1, you can call it leadership, you can call it anything, you can call it gold, you can call it whatever. Program 1. And the next program that they do after they've been with you a while that allows them to continue on the path to black belt is based on the price you establish at program 1, is generally you can push that price up to about double. So your price increase is very small. So Sal, the real issue there is probably in the upgrade process and presentation. It has nothing to do with them thinking it's too expensive. I mean, they're saying it's too expensive. Don't get me wrong. We totally acknowledge that's your objection that you're getting. But there's probably something else going on in this way it's presented. You know, whether there's a reason to do it now versus wait, how it's getting put in there, because there's just such a small price differential that it's not a pricing issue. I mean, it'd be like
I like to think of what it is, because I pretty much
that's what we need to dig into.
Yeah,
that's what we need to dig into for sure. You know, you're right.
Because I mean, Grandmaster Smith said, or Grandmaster Oliver was like, hey, just tell them the price is going to increase. That's your main reason for the new year.
Well,
And so
okay,
I tell them that that's one of them. But they don't have any, when I ask them what is, how do you like the classes? Maybe one feedback I got was from one of the parent was because they just saw the 2 classes. They were like, hey, it's pretty much an extra, 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And that wasn't because I didn't really give them an actual full sit down yet. So after I explained it to her, she understood. But that was one feedback from one of them. They were just like, okay.
So I think an error that a lot of people make, and maybe it's relevant for the whole group here, is asking them if they like the classes. So the concept of liking the classes is kind of irrelevant. That would be like you, when you went to the Naval Academy and they said, why don't you try a class and see whether you like it or not? Would that have been a relevant question for you?
Right.
Yeah. That would have been a completely stupid question to ask you, right? I mean, some of them you probably did like, and some of them you probably thought were horrible. And so, I mean, well, why did you do it? You did it because you wanted the outcome of being, the graduating and the outcome of what you became out of the Naval Academy. And so the focus of the conversation, and this is important for Gustavo and really important for everybody, the focus of the conversation needs to be what they get out of the outcome of doing the leadership program, becoming a black belt. Those two things. So those two things are intertwined. So what's critical is our conversations are not about whether they like the damn classes. I really don't give a damn. I don't care if the kid liked the classes. I don't care if the parent liked the class. Now, yeah, I want them to like the classes, but it's completely irrelevant really in the conversation. And everybody should conceptualize this concept of when Sal went to the Naval Academy. It would be idiotic to think about whether they liked the classes. I'm sure most of the midshipmen would probably, if we said, did you guys like the classes? Well, yeah, I liked some of them. I hated a lot of the experience. I mean, there'd be some kind of conversation like that. What any good outcome is going to be based on challenge. And so what's important is what the outcome is. So that's the conversation that needs to be had, because that's what's worth $500 a month. Them liking the classes is not worth $500 a month. But we don't.
And I understand that, sir.
Yeah.
Completely.
So that's the conversation. And so there's more of that conversation that needs to be had, more of that conversation that is part of the process and what it's going to mean for them. And I would encourage everybody to be good at that past, present, future stuff. Jan, I think you guys are using that a lot, right? Yeah. So Jan's getting a lot of renewals, and it's really, that's the one video, and Gustavo, if that's one video that you get to look at, the past, present, future one, where you just talk to them about, okay, we started here, here's where you're at, here's what you want to get to, and when you're going to be a second degree black belt. And so what's that going to look like? I guess I like it because it's what I do. So, I'm going to be biased, I suppose. But what's it going to look like when you're a second degree black belt? What's it going to look like when you're an adult and you've had this kind of training? And how's that going to matter to you? That's what you're buying. That's what's worth $500 a month. And how do we do that? Well, the classes are how we do that. The features of the leadership program are how we do that. See, so conceptually get that kind of in our heads about the way we communicate. And then when they say, well, I don't know, it's kind of expensive. That's not by the way, that's not a price objection. That's just them making a statement. Yeah, it's $500. It's a lot of money. I mean, okay. Yeah, well, we're working on getting them to being able to speak in public, being able to be immune from peer pressure. And that's what we talked about wanting as they move on the path to second degree black belt.
And Master Moody, I do talk about the outcome when we talk to the parents about all of that stuff. That is my main conversation. And of course, you guys say, hey, try out a class or two. So that's another conversation. Hey, how did they enjoy the class and all that stuff? And most of them will say they enjoyed it, they love it. So that to me is just a feedback that I'm giving you guys. But yes, that is what I talk about. Do you want your kids to go to the best school, the best college? Do you want them to, all of those things that you just mentioned? I think the feedback that I just get oftentimes, whether it is that.
So let me ask
So
you.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Can I ask you a couple things though? Because what
Yeah,
we want to do is diagnose
absolutely.
why you're not getting
Yeah.
a bigger price jump. You do that, you say you do that, and then you have them try a
Yes.
class and you ask them how the class is.
Yes.
Do you go back through the whole process of engaging in what the outcome is after you have them try the class?
What I typically do now is I tell them a little bit about the Black Belt Leadership Program, and then we have them go do 1 or 2 classes, and then I go over basically the enrollment talk about the program, how much it costs, what it includes, and the outcome that you are going to get. So you get a little bit of the outcome before, and then the outcome after.
You do the outcome after you tell them the cost.
No. I tell them what the outcome is, like what's the difference in the basic program and the Black Belt Leadership, to see if they're interested in that. And of course they say yes. And then they try out the class. And then we say, hey, because a lot of them want to know what the price is before they even try out the class, right? And so I tell them, go do the class, because that's what you guys recommend, is you do the class and then we'll chat about the cost of the program.
Okay.
So I could do a better job of doing it again.
When are you doing the outcome of that? You know, it's going to help them be able to speak in public and be immune from peer pressure. We'd be able to become the CEO of a company someday. That kind of stuff. I don't really mean the college thing.
Yeah, before
relevant. Where do you?
Yeah,
do that?
when we talk to them about, hey, does the kid have the right stuff? When they do the vision board, and I got the vision sheet, and the instructors recommend them. So I talk to them about what the BBL is, talk to them about that possible outcome. And then I say, hey, why don't you try out a couple classes? And then generally they'll tell me, sometimes they'll ask me, well, what's the program cost? Is it going to cost me more, and that kind of stuff? And I generally will say, yeah, we'll talk about that after your first or second class.
Okay, so they do a couple classes, and then you ask them how, and then you go. Then you ask them how they like the classes, and then you go back through features and benefits, and then you talk about price, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that's where I'm saying you need to re-inject. That's where it's very important.
Okay.
Re-inject. See, because it would be like you go test drive a car and you get to feel how good the car is, and you get to feel the car, you see how fast it drives. And then somehow you go read the brochure for the car, and then you go the next day, come back, and then you're talking about the price of the car. Now, even though the class is kind of, you think it's the test drive was really them talking about the outcome.
Okay.
See, the test drive isn't the class. The test drive is the parents getting involved and engaged in the outcome. Maybe that's a better way to say it. I just invented that now. That might be a better way to say it. The test drive is the outcome that the parents care about. So the class is more like how the car was constructed, and that there's a steering wheel and that has this kind of engine and stuff. And you go, yeah, see, that's how it actually does do the job, that it goes 1,000,000 miles an hour. Does that make more sense? And so then you go, yeah. And so isn't that cool? Now let's test drive it. And the test drive is more like getting the parents engaged in it, because that's why it's worth $500 a month. Does that make more sense? Then they go, oh, I see, it's worth $500 a month.
Got it.
And then when they say it's maybe a little expensive, oh, well, yeah, we're working on this and this and this. That's what you want, right? That's where we use confirm, connect, continue. Confirm, yeah, that's what you want. Yeah. Is that what you want?
It seems like he's missing the qualifying process. When we give him that invitation, after they've done their vision board and their vision sheets and their goal setting sheet. And then we give them the invitation to try out to see if they qualify for the black belt training. A lot of times just the emphasis of that, so the parents know they have to qualify, that it's not just we're out there begging everybody to be in the black belt program. We're going to see if they qualify. And that's why we have them do a few classes.
Yeah, I think I do that. I mean, I don't know if I
Are you
do it to the best of how you guys want to, but yeah, we say that the instructors qualify you based on your attitude and your attendance and how you do in the class and all that. So I think they get that because they don't normally just get it right away. And I mentioned that in the beginning of the enrollment conference too, when they first try to join initially. So I do mention all of that.
Yeah, and I don't know what Master Smith is doing. I'm not sure why you need to do 2 classes. I don't know if Master Smith is doing 2 classes. I would just generally do 1 class because again, you're dragging out I had this really nice conversation with the parents and they got qualified and they're real excited about it and they really want to do it. And now they're going to do a class, but then you do another class and it kind of drags out the time period. That could be a whole week. So I would try to compress that a little bit, and I don't know, Master Smith, are you doing
We do it like the intro, whereas if we're going to sell them when they're ready to buy, and after that first class, if they're excited, then you sell them. If they're not, then you've got to give them another homework assignment, another process of the goal setting sheets to find out a little more information about them and see what's going on.
Right. Yeah, so but you'd only do the second class if they weren't real excited after the first class.
Exactly.
So typically, they almost always they would be excited after the first class until something's broke.
Yeah.
So
well, I could definitely do that. I think the reason why I do 1 or 2 is because sometimes I'm at the other location, so I can't talk to the parent right then and there. So I try to give you an extra class or 2 so I can talk to them personally.
And that happens during the renewal blitz too, because you might have 3 or 4 to talk to, and you're not going to be able to get to everybody. So who am I going to talk to today? The same thing like when we do enrollments. The ones that are the most excited, I'm going to talk to today. The ones that aren't as excited, I'm going to try to get them a little more excited and talk to them next time.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sorry,
So I think I'm doing the process right. It's just I'm missing a little bit piece of the ingredient somewhere along the line.
I think he's missing, Master Moody. I think he's missing that renewal video. Remember how we did the popcorn bucket with the renewal video?
Well, you could be. I think you could throw that in there, Sal. I guess I'm saying I think you're just missing when you do before price presentation.
Yeah.
You want to get them re-engaged in the whole deal. So whenever I would sell something, if I'm going to sell something, I can't disconnect the real outcome what they're really buying.
Yeah.
And I think the way I would describe your process is you're telling me you're doing that and you're a really motivating guy. I think you're motivating them and then you're selling them when they're not in the motivated end. They just did a class. So it feels like the same thing they did before. I think you just need to get them back in the motivational end, tighten it up. So it's maybe after 1 class. I get the fact that you got 2. Maybe you can figure out the logistics of that better. I think that's the biggest deal. I don't think you're far off. I think you just need to do what I just said. And
I just need to get the Quan. That's all. The Quan.
The
Quan.
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire. The Quan.
Yeah. Right. But I think that's the big thing. And as Master Smith says a lot, if they're not ready, you thump them until when they're ready. And if you, the way I look at the past, present, future thing, and Jan likes to hear the past, present, future thing. I would watch that video. When I do that with somebody, and I've done it with you guys, like in the video, I'm emotional myself. Like I'm excited about the future for this kid or for the family or the parent or the student. I'm personally very excited. Like I'm almost in tears when I go through this and how great it's going to be for the person. So to
Mhm.
me, that's my trigger. If I'm excited about it, then I know I'm connecting with the person.
Yeah.
And I do that, then you can say, okay, this is what leadership's about. How do you want to pay? That's when you do it. You don't do it like down the way somewhere.
Got it. Okay.
I think
Thank you,
that's,
sir.
I think that's it. I think you're right there. Just do that and you're fine. And Gustavo, that's the process. That's the process. It's what's it about for them? And yeah, a white belt. So it's not like magic. It's not rocket science. But if William's still here, he's not. Oh, there he is. There you are. Yeah.
I'm here.
That's the process. And then
So what I'm seeing here is that the past, present, future is really providing a lot of that value. And then you're really framing it up as they have to qualify for this program, and the class is to confirm that they actually do in fact qualify for the program, not the other way around where you're trying to sell them.
the qualification happens before they qualify by being in the basic class, and then you let them know that the instructors feel like they're qualified. Then you start the process with the past, present, future, and the other stuff. The one way to think about this is they don't know how important it is. You know, when somebody gets their black belt and they've got their second degree black belt, or they get their, they get a high rank, and you guys have all been at testings, and a student of yours has gotten their black belt or their second degree black belt, and you're like almost in tears because of how great the experience was for that person. You guys have all been there and done that. You couldn't have communicated that when they were a white belt, like the same way as that day that they got their black belt, right? That would be very hard to communicate. You're doing the best you can to do that when they're a white belt. How important that's going to be on that day. If you could somehow transport them forward in time and communicate how important that would be, they would pay you the $500 a month. It'd be no big deal. It'd be no issue. They just give you the money, and it'd be like, of course I would want to do that because I know how important that's going to be to me. But you can't time travel, so we can't do that. So this is the best way we can do that is we've got to communicate what the outcome is going to be. We're not communicating, but what we do instead is we give them a list of things we're going to do. We're going to do some weapons, and we're going to do some more kicks, and we're going to do some this, and we're going to do some that. And we give them this list of things we're going to do. And then we say, give us some more money. That's not worth that much. The value of that stuff when they get their black belt's worth a lot, but the list of things they're going to do isn't worth that much. So think about it that way. You're trying to communicate the future of the day they're going to get their black belt or second degree black belt and how important that's going to be to them and to you. And maybe that makes the difference. So William, the idea is they qualify, then you start going through the process. And your job is to get them to qualify, not for them to, beg you, although we'd like them to beg us. Does that help, William? You kind of went off video.
Maybe you can post that video of your past, present, future thing.
That makes sense.
It's on you can look at it in the Facebook group, and Bob's going to screen share it right now.
I just posted it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bob.
sorry, my video's out, but I've got to work on that. But I just posted it, and it's also in the member site. That will be.
I think we have it twice. That's a really good one because Jan role played it with us, and then it's also I think the year before in 2017 Golden. I think 2017 Golden we did it as well, but that might be first intro, and then it's probably down in there somewhere. It's right above that. Well, anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in that one, but
I did it at that conference, but maybe it's under past, present, future.
Okay.
2016. No, it was definitely Golden. But anyway, either one of those is fine. It's the same process.
Yeah.
But essentially, the past, present, future is how you used to be. Just make it short and sweet. You used to be whatever in the past. now you're better at this in
Well,
the present condition, and then the future is here you are. The outcome is you're disciplined, you're confident, you're persistent, you're focused, you're all that in a bag of chips.
Not quite. It's kind of stolen from Tony Robbins.
Simple. Yeah.
It's when you came in, you were having these problems, or your kid was having these problems. Now you've made this much progress. And so if you continue on this path on your way to black belt to first degree and then to second degree, which is going to take you about 5 or 6 years, how do you think, if you keep making this kind of progress, how do you think it's going to be? And then you let them talk. Everybody listen to that part. You let them talk and you get them to talk, and you write down, and we have a piece of paper, just blank piece of paper, doesn't need a form. You let them talk and write all the stuff that they said, and you encourage them to say more and encourage them to say more. And then you say, well, how's that going to be if it's a kid? How's it going to be when they're an adult, and they're out of college and everything? And then they list more stuff. And, in our leadership program, we're going to teach them how to speak in public and how to present themselves. And how do you think it's going to be if they learn that kind of thing? They list more stuff. And what do you think? Do you know anybody who doesn't have that, who has the discipline issues that you started with and they never got them solved, and it was still a problem? And maybe you guys on this call can think of somebody like that that is in your family or a friend of yours that has really bad discipline. Can you think of somebody like that? And probably all of you guys could think of somebody like that. And they all can name somebody. Well, who's that? And it's cousin Bob or whatever. And not our Bob. He's got good discipline. But so cousin Fred or whatever the name is. Oh, well, what's he like? And then you write that down and you draw that at the bottom. And anyway, you can look at it. And they go, well, that's not what we want. Now they've got an image of what really crappy results are and what really good results are. That's what they're paying their $500 a month for, or $600 a month for. See, that's worth $600.
Got it.
See, and that's what we're not communicating. You communicate that. And by the way, when they tested for second degree black belt, it was worth $600 a month. It was worth $1 million. That's what the $1 million bill letter is that Master Oliver wrote. That's what that is worth. But they can't, that's how you communicate that worth 5 years from now. And it's really easy. So start doing it. Look at that video. That'll change it. That'll change everything, and you can communicate it more clearly.
Sir, may I just add something to what you said?
Please.
One of the things that we just started doing, we always had our folder meetings, but we've turned them now into a goal setting meeting. So every new student gets goal setting meetings. So we are seeing if they're improving, and if they're not improving, we're going to help them set goals. We're going to make sure they improve. They're going to do the character building sheets. And then when they see that improvement, it is so easy to renew them, because they're seeing and then you could do, look, he's already improved like this. Can you imagine what he's going to be when he's a teenager, when he's in college? The whole thing. So that has really helped us. So I think maybe if those guys started to do some of the folder meeting, but turn it into a goal setting, add some goal setting. What do you want him to accomplish? What has he done so far? Here's a character building sheet that can help you do this. Let's set some goals.
Yeah. And the only time you ever get in a little pickle is if some parent says, well, no, he hasn't really improved anything since he's been here. Well, first of all, that's not a candidate to renew, because they're problematic anyway. But you'd still go through that process and go, well, imagine, he did make some progress. What would that look like? And then you can still go through the thing.
Or if they continue on the great trip, if they're doing, A+ student, they're doing everything good. Hey, let's hope they continue on this trajectory.
Right. Yeah. But do you know anybody? And then the key point is, do you know anybody who isn't that way, who doesn't, kind of stagnates? And what does that look like? And then they go, oh, that's really bad. And they're terrified of that. People are terrified of cousin Bob, who, I don't know why I keep saying Bob. I should not say Bob, because Bob done. Because he's the opposite. I'm thinking the opposite, but cousin Fred, they're terrified of people turning out like cousin Fred. I don't know who you guys thought of. Some of you guys thought of people with bad discipline, and you're terrified of somebody turning out like that. But anyway, thanks for backing that up. Yep.
What helps a lot of the schools, I know when they were trying to get their renewal program going, that renewal video that they did Tim did one, Jan's done one. Stephen Del Castello has done them. I think Delfino did one too, but several of the other schools have done those, and the Mile High has theirs. But if you put your version of that, it will verbalize all that. And also the advantage of that is it also has a bunch of testimonials in there. And that's why I like to give them that DVD or that link to that video. So that way, before I talk to them, they already have a foundation of what other parents are saying about it and a little bit more. And that's for the people that can't verbalize it as well as Master Moody. But I did tag Gustavo and Willie and Sal in a couple of the videos that a couple people did and a couple presentations that people have done. So take a look at our Facebook page. There's some kind of renewal information in there for you. So I tagged all three of you guys to look at. So take a look at some of that material. And then maybe we can set up a time. We'll get all three of you guys together since y'all need the extra help. And if somebody else wants to jump in on it, we'll set up a time this week or next week to get everybody together and do a little special hour training thing on it.
That'd be great, sir. Thank you.
And then if y'all could look at that information that I posted before we talk, that'll give you a little bit more background on it. And I tell you, when you do that renewal video, it does make your life a lot easier. It does sell it a lot easier for you until you get good enough to sell it yourself. But even when we were good enough to sell it ourselves, we were still using that. Are y'all still using your renewal video, Jan?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we just redid ours and made it a lot better. We've got a lot more Rachel on it now. But can I add one thing though that we do that will help these guys, I think?
Yeah.
Whenever we invite someone into our masters or our leaders program, we ask the parent, and my instructor does such a good job on this, Lionel. He says, now what changes have you seen in Johnny so far? And he's already talked to the parent. He knows the parent is going to say good things. So Johnny's been here 4 weeks and he's already listening better and he's already keeping his room clean and da 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 da. And the parents hear this and they see the changes and it's like so in their face, but it's not us saying it. It's the parents of the kids saying it. So we do that. We do that when we do the character building sheets. And that's why you always say how important they are, because that's social proof of the improvements you're going to see. And they need to see that or they're not going to buy.
Excellent. Absolutely. So, and Ken, you can take a look at some of that stuff too, to jumpstart. I don't know how well your renewals are doing yet, but all that stuff that I put, there's about 3 or 4 of them in there that will give everybody a lot of extra tips. And for some of you who've been around, it's just a reminder of some of the things that you learned before but forgot. But if you don't have one of those renewal DVDs, if you didn't put a video together, you do need to, I think, and they're not that hard to do because we have it all outlined for you. Just watch any of the members who've done theirs and just kind of duplicate what they're doing. Jason, did you do one of those also?
No, we had a video with you talking about the folder system, but I didn't do one like that, no.
Yeah, but I tell you guys, Paul, you have one, Hellison?
Yes, sir, we have one.
And that made it a lot easier for you?
A little. I have trouble getting people to execute on that stuff in the background. We got the popcorn bucket, all that stuff presented in the middle of the class. And hey, did you get, look at the video and go over the application? No, not yet.
Yeah, see, the application, I don't put in that. That's too much, I think, until they get to see that video. That's why I just put the goal setting sheet in there. And because when they bring that goal setting sheet, I give them a stripe for that. After I gave them their invitation, that's after they did their vision sheet or board and they get that award in front of everybody. It's a special presentation. And then I give them the bucket and ask them before your next class, make sure that you watch this video, or I'll send them the link, or I'll give them the actual hard copy of it, whichever you do, either one works. And just say, sit down with the family. And that's why we put the popcorn bucket together. So they had, we had Gatorade in there. We had, that popcorn, they could microwave it and have a little movie night. And when they come back for that class, if they haven't done it, then I schedule them for another class and make sure they do it before the next class. And if they don't do it, then I don't qualify them into the leadership program. I mean, that's part of the qualifying process, is that they need to go through that and see what it entails and what it's about and what parents are saying about it. And when they do see that, Paul, it makes all the difference in the world. Just ask Jan and the others that have been doing those DVDs or the videos for a while. Tim Harrison, I know that was his magic spot. When he hit that, his renewals took a big upswing.
Hey, Master Smith, since we have everybody together here who is looking for the extra help, let's go ahead and set the time. How does tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern work for maybe an hour to cover the renewal?
I wanted them to actually look at some of that material first. I don't know if that's going to give them enough time to get a little work on it. Maybe we do it on Thursday instead, maybe Thursday at 1 o'clock before the regular meeting, the quick start
Thursday,
meeting.
1 o'clock works for me. Thursday,
Okay.
That's
1
fine with me.
works.
Okay, let's do Thursday, 1 o'clock, and then look at some of that stuff that I posted on the Facebook page and Bob posted, and then write down any questions you have on that, and that'll give you a little more foundation, and then we'll work from there, okay?
Will that be on this? Will that be on this link, sir?
That's Thursday at 1 o'clock. So anybody that wants to jump on that Thursday at 1 will be on the, we'll do on the
Thursday link.
Yeah, let's do the Thursday link, because when we finish, then we can go right into the regular quick start meeting.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. I'm good. Master Moody, you got anything else?
Nope, let's get
Okay.
ready for, now remember, just for a holiday schedule, we will not have any meetings from the 21st through but we will start back up again on the 4th.
Okey doke.
All right, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Guys.
Take care.